Let's talk about hormone balancing. So often women start having symptoms like mood swings, depression, anxiety, fatigue, and right away, doctors will tell you that it's your hormones. You might even think that it's your hormones causing these symptoms. And I'm not saying that it's not. It could be, it's very possible. But when we're trying to balance our hormones, what we don't want to do first is work on our hormones. And I know that sounds a little counterintuitive, but hear me out. When our body is in a state of fight or flight all day, it is not thinking about reproduction. It's not thinking about balancing hormones whatsoever. So if you are running from a tiger all day, every day, you're not going to be stopping and being like, I'm going to reproduce right now. It just wouldn't happen. And so you might not be physically running from a tiger, but most of us are mentally running from tigers all day. We're stuck in the rat race. We might be taking care of kids. We might be juggling a job with our family, cleaning the house, working, and it gets to be a lot. Not to mention, on top of that, we have toxins, we have pathogens, we have heavy metals, we have depleted food, and reproduction is just not the top priority for our body. So when we're healing, we want to respect that and honor that. We don't want to be forcing the body to produce hormones. A lot of women might see, oh, my progesterone is low, my cycles are getting shorter. I'm going to take something like chaste berry to increase my progesterone. And chaste berry works by telling the brain to produce more progesterone, but it's not really fair to your body to tell it to produce more progesterone when it can't. And our goal when healing and trying to balance our hormones is to support the body's ability to start making them. So when I'm working with women, one, we want to kind of let go of the idea that our hormones are causing all of our symptoms because usually it's not the case. It's other imbalances and deficiencies that are causing the symptoms. So neurotransmitters, detox pathways, mitochondria, adrenals, deficiencies, toxins, those are all going to be the main cause of the symptoms. And the hormonal imbalance is a result of those causes. So when I start to work with balancing hormones, my first step is to run the foundation lab, so the organic acids, the full blood panel, and the genetics test to really see what is going on with my body. What tools does my body need to start to repair? And once we have that information, we have that custom protocol for your body, then we need to give the body some time because you can start taking supplements and it doesn't mean that it's fixed in a week or 2 weeks. So I like to take about a month for clients to get on their foundation protocol. That's adding in supplements slowly, not just putting them all on board in 3 days. We want to add them slowly. We want to give the body time to adjust. We want to find the right doses. And after we have everything on board from that foundation protocol that's supporting our neurotransmitters and our detox pathways and our deficiencies and our thyroid and our mitochondria, once that is on board for 30 days, then I like to wait at least another 30 days and sometimes 60 days so that the body has a chance to start to rebuild and rebalance and repair. And once it's doing that, then it's finally going to be ready to say, hey, let's think about reproduction. Let's think about these sex hormones. And that's when we run a Dutch test. And the Dutch test is really cool because unlike blood, unlike saliva that just give you a picture of your free levels, a moment in time of those free levels, the Dutch test is looking at an entire day and it's going to show us not only the free levels, but it's going to show us the metabolized levels. And that is key because it's not always the free levels that are the problem. It's actually how you're breaking them down. Most people, when we look at the Dutch, we're going to see some toxic metabolites. So the body is having trouble breaking down the estrogen or breaking down the androgens. And we want to look at that and give the body support because more often than not, the body does not want the bioidentical hormones. When you're feeling like you're suffering from hormonal issues and you go to a doctor and they give you HRT, especially if this happens for perimenopausal women and postmenopausal women, we can really increase our risk of female cancers by giving the body hormones that it cannot safely detoxify. And without first looking at the Dutch test, you don't know if it's safe. So for most women, if they're going to be working with me, if they're on bioidentical hormones, we will immediately check to see if those hormones are safe. And I can tell you the majority of the time, they're not. The reason the body has been lowering the hormones and those hormones are not balanced and those levels are showing low on blood work or saliva is because the body is saying, whoa, it's not safe to have these high levels. And we, thinking that we know better, start saying, hey, you need more hormones. And it's very, very counterproductive to healing. So when we've started with the foundation, we have already been working very well on your phase 1 and phase 2 detox pathways. And I have a whole video on all the 3 phases of detoxification. I also have a big section of my book is dedicated in the appendix to the detox pathways. It goes in depth on methylation and the different phases. So check that out. I don't want to dive into it here. But we've already been working on the foundation with the foundation pathways on your phase 1 and 2 detox. And we're going to start working on phase 3 right around the time that we do the Dutch test. And when we see the Dutch test, we can then see if more hormone support is needed. And this is really an important process to follow, because if you start working on your hormones right away, 1, you're likely putting more stress on your body. And 2, if you're adding in bioidentical hormone support or guessing and taking herbs to increase your estrogen when you don't know if it's high or low, or trying to lower your estrogen like I did. I thought my estrogen was high, lowered it, caused interstitial cystitis. And we don't want to be causing more harm than good guessing. So it's the importance of doing it in the right order so that the body has tools to make its hormones. And if we're seeing that levels on the Dutch test are very low, we might see low adrenal function, we might see overall low levels of DHEA and progesterone and estrogen, then at that time, it's then safe to add in some bioidentical hormone support. And for postmenopausal women, we want to make sure that the body is getting support, but not trying to get the woman back to cycling levels. It's very unhealthy for a woman after their 50s to be having these high levels of hormones in their system because it puts such stress on the detox pathways. They're not supposed to be there. Once we hit menopause around, between 50 and 55 for most women, our hormones are supposed to go down. That is the normal pathway for us. And it doesn't mean that we should have all these symptoms. That is going to be because of dysregulation in other parts of the body. When we look at some indigenous cultures, we don't see these menopausal symptoms. So we know that it's related to our lifestyle, it's related to our diet, and it's related to the toxin and pathogen burden that our body is under. So we want to get the proper support on board. And for a lot of postmenopausal women, if it's safe, that is using low doses of bioidentical hormones. But again, we want to just add in the support at a very low level and only go to the dose that we needed. And because we've done all that foundation work, we likely don't need a lot of the hormones. The majority of the symptoms should clear up when we're doing our foundation, because the majority of our symptoms are caused by those other imbalances and deficiencies, not the hormones themselves. So it's a little bit of a different way to look at hormones. If you want to learn more, you can definitely check out my book. It's Heal Yourself. I have a big section on the Dutch test, what it looks like, how to analyze it, what the markers mean. And if you're looking for a practitioner, check out my website, www.sgintegrativehealing.com.